Welcome to Selfish Confidence, a place where we can connect and be real about how hard it is to be your damn self. I'm your host, Jess, and my goal is to help you build confidence and belief in yourself to live any life path you want, even if it's unconventional. It's time to break down those barriers and connect with women who've also felt on the outside by their life choices. We're encouraging you to grab the mic and speak your truth. I know it can be scary, but we're in this together. We got this. Let's dive in. Welcome to today's episode, very special episode today of the Selfish Confidence podcast. I'm excited because I got two guests today and they are looking good. You can't see them right now, but I have some great guests who are here to talk about something that's really important to me and also really important to them. So welcome, Gina Keeping and Emily King. It's Emily's first time on the podcast. Oh, did you? You go, girl. You go, girl. I did shower for you, so that's a win. Today, we're going to be talking about their very special event that they have coming up called Shift. And it is near and dear to my heart because you've probably heard on this podcast, if you've been listening for a while, my friend Jamie and I did an episode right after the Shift event. And we talked all about what happened there and how we, processed some of the things and enjoyed the event. And also just soaking it up together. And we bought our ticket for the next Shift event on that day. Like as soon as the event was done, we were ready to go. And I had just spent the weekend in Newfoundland with Gina and Emily, and I wanted to have them come on and talk about this event because it's a really powerful one. So much so that I'm going back to Newfoundland again just to be able to be a part of it and to be there. And I know so many of you who are listening right now need an event like this in your life too. So I wanted them to come on and talk a little bit about why they started it, what the heck they're doing, why they're putting so much work into something like this. And yeah, take it away. Emily, do you want to go first on why you started this, both of you together? Like, let's talk a little bit about the event and how it formed.
Yeah, so Gina and I have both spent lots of money going away to get what we felt was missing here in St. John's. Well, really like in Atlantic Canada, I feel. And Gina and I have been to Tony Robbins events. Actually, you and Gina were just at the event down in Arizona. So we've spent, I feel like, well, me personally, I know it's at least like 5 figures in going away between hotels and that kind of stuff. So we really wanted to give people the opportunity to get the shift without needing to fly away and like spend a fortune. And we wanted to bring it here. So that was kind of the spark of it all. But Gina, I'll let you tell the origin of Shift because Gina has kind of a cool story behind it.
Yeah. So like kind of to build on what Emily said, these events and being around people who thought differently than myself and Emily, I feel that living in a small rock in the middle of nowhere, it's really hard to change, right? It's really hard to get yourself in these rooms and to see how people think differently. So anyway, like Emily said, went away, did all the things. And I remember one of my very first events it was in Nashville. And I remember Sean T, I forgot his last name, Sean T was speaking. And I remember him sharing his story.
Oh, from Beachbody?
From Beachbody. And I remember looking up and I remember saying, because I was wondering the other day, like when was the first moment that I was like, I need to be on a stage to help people. And it was then I was like, one day I'm going to be sharing my story. So then, kind of just went on and knew that it was going to happen. And I think it was like the summer prior to the first Shift event, I had this inkling of I'm going to build a stage, wanted to have it here. And I didn't know I was going to do it with somebody at the time. And this is going to sound really corny, guys. I get it. But I had a dream.
We like corny.
And it was very corny because I dream in still shots. And when I dream in still shots, I know I got to follow the nudge. And it was a picture of hands and a picture of me and Emily on a stage. And I was dreaming about Emily. So I had it multiple times. So I wrote Emily. We met at not the Jumping Bean. What's it called again? The Rocket Bakery in Mount Pearl. And I was like, hey, Emily, do you want to do this event with me? And I didn't think she was going to say yes. I got to be honest. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. And she said yes. And that was February. And we put together this event, our first event for June. And working with Emily has been absolutely amazing. And we both have a collective, mission of helping people. And we wanted to bring it to our province, especially after a time of COVID, and we all know what that meant. And yeah, it's very near and dear to us to help as many people as we can on this mission, and to help people think differently too, because if there weren't people in our worlds that showed us how to think differently, we wouldn't be here. So I think that natural growth is just so important. And we wanted to create a room where it was safe for others to do so. So that's kind of where it all stemmed from.
I love that. And I think what's the beautiful thing about you two as a pair is that you both have very special gifts, and they're very different gifts. As much as you both help people in like a very specific way, you do it differently. And right? I loved that about you two. I actually went to the event and I had no idea who either of you were. I was like, oh, they shared my stuff on social media. That's cool. I'll follow them. But that was about it. That's all I knew. I knew there was a Gina and I knew there was an Emily. And I remember going to the event and people were like, who are you here for, Gina or Emily? And I'm like, is this a wedding? Like, I don't know. What are you talking about? I don't know either of them. I don't know who's speaking. I literally know nothing. All I knew was that I had this like gut feeling that I had to be there. And I saw it because someone who was here who had an event had shared that they were going. And I was like, okay, I'll go too. And so that's kind of how it started for me. I had no idea who either of you were. And now here we are like 6 months later, and I have two very dear friends who are so important to me that I've connected with and have gone through courses with now, that all came from going to something that I had no idea who you were. I think that's pretty cool. And now I get to experience both sides of it. So why don't we talk a little bit about that and what is coming up in this shift and what you'll both be bringing to the table?
Well,
maybe you should say too, like, okay, it's Gina, because now people are like, there's 3 women's voices. Like, who's actually speaking?
Oh,
now speaking on the mic in her sexy voice is Gina.
Yes, please.
We'll stop that pretty quick. What are we bringing to shift? I feel this one, the timing of it in January, the clue up of a year, December is right before January. And I feel that our mission for the shift event, a theme, if you will, is to help people get clear on their year and to really help people get started on that right foot. We don't necessarily believe in New Year's resolutions, but we want to help people create habits that they want to, but habits that stick, and show people how to really do growth and change in the right way. We're sick and tired of hearing people start something and then quit something. And we want to support people, nurture people, and give them the tools to really step into a new year and to feel empowered and confident. We have a lot of surprises, I guess you could say, for the January event that we didn't have in the June event. So we're taking, once again, Emily and I will never run an event the same way. That's just not who we are. So yeah, we have a whole new theme for January. Emily, I don't know if you want to build on that in your sexy voice.
Oh, hello. Yeah, it's about casting your vision, really, and stepping into the energy of the being of that woman or man or what have you, and how they're going to show up for their year. And Gina and I are big on awareness of what's stopping you from doing that, like, and calling BS on that stuff, and not just saying it in the room or saying it to a friend or what have you, but really embodying it. And we're big on accountability and action. So it's not only talking a talk, but it's walking a walk. And that's why, like last time, Jess, after you came in June, we had that 21-day follow-up program where it was like accountability. So it's really going to be like, I was saying to Gina, like, I would love to have this for myself, a day to go and just give me that treat of reflection and intention and envisioning and connection and community and support. Like, I would love to be at something like this for myself, to give myself that gift of a day for me, because that just sets you up for success hugely. So yeah. And then I do want to add, we're going to have some money mindset in there, because that's one of my specialties, is abundance, manifesting money. You know, some of my clients call me the money godmother, and it's true. Like, I just love that stuff. So money is a big topic that gets missed at a lot of these personal development things. But it's important. We can't, all of us need money.
Mm-hmm. It's actually interesting too, because like, even as women, I feel like we shy away from that topic a lot. And I think it was, for me, it was nice because you had a little piece of it too in the first shift. And that was my first time. It was when we had that wheel, and it was my first time really even thinking about my finances in that way. And I was like, oh, dang. Okay. Like, it really helped me to put that into perspective. So like, I love the money talk. We don't talk about it enough as women in business. And it's nice to have you be so open and vulnerable about that piece.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm really excited. It lights me up. Like, Jess, at the retreat that we did this past weekend, we did a money section, and it was just like, it just lights me up for people to see the potential for themselves and for them to get out of the tiny box they may be in around money and really see it as an expansive, abundant thing that's a love-love relationship, not a love-hate relationship.
Yeah. And I think another thing too with the event in general, the biggest piece for me was the connection. And it was coming like right out of COVID, really, and even me coming back home from living abroad for a bit. And I was craving community and connection so much. And going there as an anxious person, sitting there and being like, oh gosh, I gotta talk to strangers, was exactly what I needed. I actually needed to go to an event and get out of that fear of COVID and the world, like I'm going to go somewhere and I'm going to get sick, and going to this and hugging people for the first time in a very long time and meeting people for the first time and talking, without that fear was such a gift and such a relief. It was what I needed to step into my purpose coming back to Halifax and being able to bring something like this into a smaller proportion into the community here. So you have this light and something so important, especially when it comes to community and connection. And the thing that I absolutely hated but loved so much was when you made us switch seats. And Jamie and I talked about that because I was like, no, don't separate me from my friends. But that's how I connected with so many people and have deep connections with now. So I'm excited to go to Shift to see people who I met at the last Shift.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because in our feedback survey, it was like 50-50. Some people were like, nope, did not like the changing of the chairs. And some people were like, I loved how you made us do that. But we're like,
Yeah.
We're bringing it back for the next one.
I hated it. Do not get me wrong. Because every time I was like, oh God, like I got queasy. I got sick. I was like, I don't want to sit by a stranger again. But then I'd sit there and then I'd meet some new people and I'd loosen up again. And I'm like, oh, that helped.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go to the event and only meet one person, only come with the person I came with, right? Like I want to have more.
And I think sometimes, like you just summed up adulthood right there. Like when we become adults, we make our day-to-day so safe that we don't put ourselves in situations where we can see what we're made of. And I think we lose sight of the potential we have because we make things so freaking safe. So while the participants, yes, was uncomfortable or were uncomfortable, there was a reason behind why we did it. One of the whole things is like when we get uncomfortable, that's when we grow. So it's like we got to shake it up from what you do day to day, like every day. Like you can go home and sit down and be comfortable. You didn't pay money to come here and just sit in one place and be comfortable. Like there's way too many events already like that out there. And I really truly believe that when you get uncomfortable, there's so much more happening than you being a little bit awkward. Like just think about how confident you are. The next time you go into a room, you're going to feel better standing up and saying hello to that person, making connections, learning things about yourself that you've never tested before. So we're all about that full body growth, man. And just like, yeah, you're really, really incredible and you can do hard things and you have so much potential. Let us show you in a safe space.
Yeah. Yeah. You hear that, guys? Yeah. If you do not want to come to Shift now, we can end the episode. Like, we're good. Come to Shift. But I actually think it'll be really cool if you can maybe wrap in a little gift. Who is the person that needs to come to Shift? Like, who is it? What does I shouldn't say she, but who is it that needs to come? I have my hands like a little person is sitting in them. This person's in my hands.
Okay. I'll kick off Emily here. Who is the person? The first, I always like to think of the younger version of me. I find that's really helpful. And the younger version of me, when she was in her mid-20s, didn't know what she wanted to do with her life. She had all the things. She had the MBA, she had the undergrad, she had the nice boyfriend, soon to be husband. And like it was all the check boxes, but I was lacking that, almost like that inner compass of like, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm placed on earth. And it was really heartbreaking because I knew I had potential in me, but I just didn't know how to tap into it. And it felt like I was just standing in a dark tunnel, not knowing which way to turn. And when somebody lit that candle for me, so to speak, I'm getting chills and goosebumps here. That was life-changing for me. And so I want to be that candle for someone who's out there going, what do I do? Who can I connect with? How do I get out of this funk? How do I get out of this, stuck place? And we're here to help you. We're here to give you that tap on the shoulder saying, yeah, you can do it.
Yeah.
The dream you think is crazy, it's not crazy at all. It's placed in your heart for a reason. We're here to bring back that spark within someone who feels like it's been dimmed a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Gina, you have anything to add to that?
I think she said it perfectly. And as she was saying that, I was thinking about my younger version. And to add to that is the person who feels they have to carry everything on their shoulders. The person who might have been putting themselves on the back burner, not allowing themselves to think they could have anything different, but what society told them to do. Like I did a really good job of doing what I was told and what I should do. So I feel it's for anybody who wants to look at the world in a different way and don't know how. If they feel like something is off, like I remember my feeling, I was like, this can't be it. You know what I mean? And feeling that something was off. And I was like, I know that this cannot be all. And I think a lot of people are walking around unhappy and don't know what to do with that. And it can not all it takes, but like coming to an event like Shift can help you find what that missing piece is. And I think there's a misconception that, oh, this is just for business owners. This is not just for business owners. It's actually the opposite. It's for human beings who are craving something a little more. And it's for human beings who want to feel alive, who want to find their happiness, who want to be more confident, who want to find somebody who does cheer them on, because a lot of people don't have support. It's for the person who is longing to have something in their life that's a little bit more lighter. It's for somebody who's been through hardships and wants to find a little bit of lightness. So yeah, like I just feel if you feel there's something missing, then that's a breadcrumb to bring you to this event where, like Emily said, we can be that light for you and show you the way. Because I think we accept the false narrative that this is how it is, and it's so far from that. And I look at how, even all three of us on this call, how much our lives have changed by being willing to grow. And that gift belongs to everybody. But sometimes with the toolkit that we have, we don't know how to do it. So let's get a different toolkit, right? Let us help you equip yourself with the tools so that you can do something different that makes you happy. And that's not quitting your 9-to-5 or anything like that. We're really good at taking you from where you are and helping you go to where you want to go. So in a nutshell, I think that's who we want to help.
Oh, I'm over here just like crying in the corner. Like I feel it, right? Because it's the same thing for me. Like even me of 6 months ago, life totally changed when I came to Shift. I started planning events. I came home and I was like, I'm doing a retreat. It's just like crazy how just being around people and being around people who believe in you can help to propel you forward. And I wrote on my hand, because I didn't have a note, was like, I believe Shift is for the person who feels like they're the outsider, the weirdo that isn't used to being around people who believe in them or people who want more out of their life. They're so used to being around the people who are like, oh, this is how it is, the Debbie Downers and all those things. But when you can surround yourself with people who start to believe in themselves, believe in each other, like you're not the weirdo anymore in the room. Like you get to be in a place where people want more for their life, where they're not saying, oh, I'll just stay in this 9-to-5, or I'll just stay in this, or I'll just do that, like life like this. And I think that that's the gift in itself, just to be in a room where you're not the weirdo anymore. Like you're the weirdo if you don't believe in yourself. Like you're the weirdo if you don't want more. And I think people aren't used to that.
It reminds me of when I went to Tony Robbins and some of the naysayers are like, oh, that's like going to joining a cult. And when I was there, I was like, we're all part of a cult, whether we want, believe it or not, whether we realize it or not. So I'd like to join this cult because this cult is awesome.
Yeah, the energy.
Sign me up for this.
The energy here is different. Yeah. Like they're people who just really want the best for you and the best for themselves. And they're willing to pay for that experience. They're willing to put their money down. They're willing to do something for themselves because they've just felt like that weirdo their whole life. And that's a big piece of this podcast too. We're all about unconventional lives and unconventional truths and being yourself. And we're so used to, especially in small towns, so used to being the only one who thinks like that.
But you know what, Jess, I'm even going to challenge this a little bit because I feel that we all have that inside of us. We all do. Like that little weirdo is in every single one of us, that person who wants something different, because the way we're living is not the way we're meant to be living. And I think people have gotten really good at stuffing down that version of themselves that once had a dream. You know what I mean? Like you tell me every single child, when you ask them what they wanted to be when they grew up, they were talking about imagination. They were dreaming, and the dreaming has been sucked out of us. So it's like, if you're thinking, oh, I don't have that in me, you do. And like this event is going to help you see that in you if you're willing. You know what I mean? I think it's just that willingness of accepting, okay, you know what? I'm not living the way I want to. Let's explore it. And I truly feel that this work, everybody needs. And while this event is not necessarily for every single, genre of person, it is for everybody. This internal growth, this looking inward, this like getting comfortable with your emotions. I know it's uncomfortable for people, but like that's where you're going to find the happiness. And we all have that little person inside of us that's really screaming to get out. And these events, that's what's going to help, is bringing you back to you, which is what it's all about, and not worrying about checking the freaking boxes and living with the masks and all that stuff. It's finding what makes you you. And we've done a good job of doing the opposite.
I love it. The other question I do have is, and I don't want you to give away all your secrets because I actually do love a good secret, but what can someone expect from coming to this event? What does the day look like? What can they prepare for? What do they need to bring? And where is it?
Okay.
They point at each other to talk. I'm supposed to direct it. How about Emily? You go for it. Or do you want Gina to go for it?
Okay. Sexy voice Gina back again. It's at the Sheraton in St. John's, Newfoundland. We have the hotels and the big convention room all together. So if you're worried about Newfoundland winter, you can stay in one building and not leave. What can you expect? When you enter the building, it's not like a sit-down event that you've been to before. It's very high energy. It's very welcoming. We have a hype squad that welcomes you when you come in. Nobody sits alone. Nobody stands alone. Nobody feels alone. Everybody is welcomed. And you are literally wrapped in a giant hug the whole entire day that you're there. That's how I can explain it. And then we guide you through a really transformational day. And we don't give out the itinerary on purpose, because from start to finish, we want to show you that you can do things that are hard and that you can get uncomfortable. And not only are you going to survive, you're going to thrive. So the whole entire day is super intentional how we go about the day, but it's not a cookie cutter solution. And I know I've already said this, but we literally take you from where you are. We're not telling you what your goals are. We're showing you how to find them within yourself, and then giving you the tools to move through the day. So you leave feeling confident, you leave feeling motivated, inspired, know how to take action, not just like, okay, go on, do the thing. We really think about the full package of what a transformation looks like.
I love it. And I think too, it was a big piece of just like, understanding what I wanted. I didn't know even walking into the room. So walking away with that was a big piece of it too. And I love a good workbook. I know you're going to have one. So there's always just going to be that tool. Like you really don't need anything to come. You just show up and be willing to get uncomfortable, because there's a lot of pieces about it that made me really uncomfortable. Is there anything you want to add, Emily?
I think practically speaking, like we do journaling, meditation, visualization, dancing. There's group work where at your table you'll be discussing different things. One little spoiler, maybe we'll change it up for this one, but the last event we did like rock, paper, scissors to kick things off, to get to know each other, and gave out prizes. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of high energy, but we also can read the space really well so that we know, okay, now it's time for some inner work. Now it's time for some like downtime, like quiet time kind of thing. And then now it's time to ramp up the energy. So we can really read the energy in the room and really direct it where it needs to go throughout the day. So it's very fluid. Like it's not like, at 11:30, we are doing this section of the day. It's like, and live coaching too, microphones passed around, you to ask your question, you to share your experience, Gina and I to dive in with some kick-ass coaching. And yeah.
Can you share a little bit too about what someone can expect if they get a VIP ticket? Like, what's happening in the evening?
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, VIP.
I'll be there. I'm a VIP, baby.
VIP guests can join us more in the front, so they get VIP seating. They also get VIP swag bags. But the most fun thing about the VIP, in my opinion, is going to be the evening event. So it's going to be an opportunity to hang out with Gina and I, to hang out with your fellow shift sisters, brothers, and have a dinner together, like a private. We have a restaurant rented out for a private dinner, an evening together, drinks, 3-course meal, like the whole kit and caboodle. So it's going to be a great time. And we brought it. We brought the VIP to this round because the last time people were like, oh, I want to like still connect with everyone. Like when the day wrapped up around 4:00 or so, people were like, oh, like that's it. And so we're like, all right, let's keep this community going. Let's keep this party alive. So it's an opportunity for people to get more intimate after the day is done, and then hang out and have a good time in the evening.
I love that. And I've never been a VIP girl. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm the girl who hides in the corner and is like all alone, and you guys don't know me like that because you're both looking at me like I'm a crazy person. But like I would be the person in the back, like don't want to bother anybody. But I recently went to an event. Gina came with me to Empower Her Live, and I got the VIP experience, and I literally dove over seats to get the best seat in the room, and I've never been like that. And so I'm a new girl. VIP is my name, and I'm gonna be there. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I want to go, like VIP is the way to go. This is gonna be like just an extra bonus experience. Go ahead, Gina.
Sorry, I thought you were stopped. And the other thing too, what I find when I go to an event, and especially if I go alone or you go with friends, when you leave that day, because there is structure throughout the day, you don't have time to really debrief. And a lot of people don't have people at home or a safe place to debrief and go, hey, like, let's talk about that exercise, or like, what do you think of that? Or, oh my God, like you were so brave. Like, it's just this extra layer of connection that I feel you don't necessarily, you get the connection throughout the day, of course, but it's like, oh my God, I met this really cool lady. I want to go and dive deeper before I go back into the real world. Right. So it's just this intimate place where you can further the conversation, where you can solidify what you learned, where you can hug people and have really good conversations, because I would say the majority of people listening to this podcast don't have a circle of people to have deep conversations. And this second portion, this VIP piece, like that's what it's about. It's talking with Emily and I. It's like having the full restaurant. It's just like this immersive experience. And, you know, anytime I've learned something, when you immerse yourself into it, your results are always better. You know what I mean? So it's that beautiful opportunity. Yeah.
And I never thought of it like that, because I do have an incredible husband, and I come home and he always wants to know what I learned. And most of the time I'm too exhausted to tell him because I've just been crying for like 8 days. But you're right, to be around those people again, to not be going home to be like the person who's like, hey, listen to all these things. It's like these people experienced it too. And you really get to dive into that at this dinner. And I agree. I think that's going to be such a cool experience.
Yeah. And it's a good way for people to like exchange contact information, to continue those relationships outside too. And no fault of anybody, but when you come back to like quote unquote real world and you're talking about this experience and somebody's not as excited as you, it almost makes you think, oh, I got to shrink again. And we're like, no, man, like you're done shrinking. So the more time that you can spend in the room with people who think like you, I don't know, man, that's where the magic is. And I think that's how all of us are able to maintain. I look at it as like a maintenance package. Like I'm going to get into as many rooms as I possibly can. And if that means that something else has to suffer and I don't go get my fancy lattes, to me, my priority is me and my growth. You know what I mean? So maybe somebody needed to hear that today.
It's powerful stuff. Before we get ready to wrap up here, is there anything that you think about the event that people should know about?
I want to say that if you're listening now and you're like, oh my God, I don't have anyone to go with, perfect. That's the reason, why we're doing this, is to get uncomfortable. And over half of the people that came last time came by themselves. So you're not alone. There's going to be a lot of people in the room that are also going to be, so-called alone, but they're not actually going to be, because once you step foot into that room, between the hype squad, between the exercises that we have to really integrate you into the space, you're going to feel right at home within a quick amount of time, or short amount of time. So come join us.
We don't just say you're going to leave with friends. Like, you legit leave with people in your corner, which I think is so important. Yeah.
So important. And especially like, coming off of that event, there's so many people I'm so excited to see and to hug when I get there. So I only came knowing one person last time, and now I have a crew that we're getting matching pajamas and having sleepovers with, and it's just a totally different experience that anybody listening to this can have too. And if you're listening to this and you know me, you're going to know me. I'm going to be there, and you're not going to be alone because I'm not going to let you be alone. And that's going to be such a great thing for us to do together. And actually, while I got the girls on the call, there is something really exciting for me about this shift. At the last shift, I remember sitting down at the table. Ooh, I already feel emotional. Welcome to my life. I sat down at the table and I told some of the girls who were there sitting with me that I had this dream of speaking on a stage, and I didn't know how I was going to make that happen. I just knew that someday I would be there. And I had only been podcasting for a few months at that point. But a few months ago, Gina and Emily reached out to me and they said, we want you to speak at the next shift. It was almost like finally being in a space where I could speak my truth and speak about my goals and speak about the thing that I had on my heart that gave me the opportunity to make it happen. And Gina and Emily are making that happen for me. And I'll be speaking at shift, which is freaking crazy. Woo! And I'm so nervous, but so excited because it's exactly where I'm supposed to be. But yeah, I'm shaking over here because I haven't really told a lot of people about it.
Yes.
Oh, I am legit over bawling now. Sorry. But it's really cool because you never know the power of one decision and how it can change your life. And everything is kind of flooding back to me because if I didn't make that decision for me to go to that Tony Robbins event, my first one, I would not be here doing what I'm doing. And I'm just a little bit speechless here now, which never happens, to the fact that you need to get yourself into these rooms and you need to get around people who believe in you and who see your heart and see your potential and see maybe what you can't see right now. And Jess, I'm just so proud of you for how far you've come and how you've grown and how you're changing so many lives just because you decided to go for it. So you're doing amazing things, and I'm proud to know you as a friend.
Oh, why, thank you. And I guess that, like, my point here too is just like not only get in the room, but take advantage of being in the room to say what you want to say. Use your voice, speak up, and say what you want, because if you do, somebody there might be able to make your wish come true and give you an opportunity like this to be able to speak on a stage or to share your vision. And I texted Gina one day and I was like, Gina, I need this much time. I got a really powerful message. You ready? And she was just like, okay. And I was like, sweet. So I got a message, a really good one to share there. So come listen.
Amazing.
I can't wait to hear you speak on stage.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be with you all too. And how can someone get their ticket? How can someone be a part of this?
They can go to theshiftevent.ca and get their ticket now. Ticket sales are closing December 22nd, so don't hold off too late before you forget and then miss out all that good stuff. So go grab them now if you're feeling that nudge within you of like, oh, I need to be there. Like, trust that inner knowing and follow your gut, because you won't regret it.
You will not regret it.
And if you're listening and you're like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to make this work, ask for it for a Christmas gift.
Mm-hmm.
Like, go to your husband and say, because I guarantee you he's looking for something to buy you. Don't let him try to guess on his own. But I've done that quite often. I've went to Dwayne and I said, don't give me any gifts this year. I just wanted to go towards this trip or go towards this growth thing or this course. So yeah, advocate for yourself and find a way. You won't be disappointed.
Speak your truth. Ask for what you want. You never know. It might be in your stocking. I love it. Thank you, ladies. And where can our listeners connect with both of you? Go ahead.
Well, Shift has their own Instagram account at the Shift Event. But if you'd like to check out myself, it's at emilyking.ca is my Instagram account.
And I'm at Gina_Keeping, and my website is ginakeeping.ca. So you can find me there.
I will have all the information in the show notes. I'm going to have all the information on how you can get your ticket, where to go, what to do. Be there. You're going to want to be there because this is going to be something powerful. Who wouldn't want to get clear on their year? Who wouldn't want to have a better understanding about what 2023 is going to look like? So let's freaking go.
Yes.
Thanks so much for being here.
And you'll get to see Jess on
And
stage.
to see me on stage, duh.
Don't come for us.
Go
Come for
support
Jess.
your girl. Yeah.
I love
It's
you
worth
guys.
it just to see Jess.
Oh,
I can't wait.
And also, we are going to do a coupon code for all of your listeners.
Oh, wonderful.
We forgot to mention that. So if you are listening to this, we will give Jess a coupon code and she'll pop it in her show notes. And just for listening and supporting Jess, you get a little.
I'll make it. It'll be called Selfish.
Ooh, I love it. Use coupon code
Yeah,
selfish.
Yeah, you'll get 20% off.
That's a good
Yeah,
deal. Okay,
right?
let's go.
Right.
Nothing but the best for our
But we'll
girl.
have it expire, so you don't sit on your bum too long. We'll have it expire within 48 hours of the podcast.
Okay, perfect.
Or maybe we'll give them a little longer. Maybe like
We'll
3
give you
days,
3
we'll
days.
say.
Yeah, 3 days.
Okay,
3
perfect. And you have to get your tickets in before the 22nd. So even at that point, that'll be like the 3rd of December. I'll put all this information in the show notes. But if you miss out on the promo code, you still have to get your ticket before the 22nd because the doors are closing and you're going to be really sad you missed this.
And also, I think it's we didn't mention this earlier, but if you are traveling and you're worrying about staying, the hotel that we're at has a phenomenal price per night. So it's very affordable. We're trying to make it as affordable as we possibly can. So there's that as well. So reach out, go to the shiftevent.ca, grab your ticket.
I feel like we don't want this podcast to end because we're just like, oh, wait, and
I know. I'm just like, no,
don't forget
not
that.
done. No, keep going.
We're not done. We're not done recording. We're just going to spend all night hanging out together here.
So let's end this one. And welcome back to part 2.
Yes, wonderful. Okay, I love you guys. I can't wait to hug you soon.
Oh, love you too. Thanks, Jess.
Love you too.
Mwah.
I am so grateful that we could connect today. If you enjoyed today's episode, share it with a friend or on your social media and tag me so I can personally thank you for helping me grow this community and get my message out there. And don't forget, you deserve to embrace your truth. It's time to live life your way.